The nominees for North Carolina's Superintendent of Public Instruction went head-to-head in a debate in Greenville tonight. Gigi Barnett was at that debate where they talked not only about pressing matters in the public school system, but also about some controversial comments made online by Republican candidate Michelle Morrow. Gigi?
Dave, after both Michelle Morrow and Democratic nominee Mo Green made remarks about their takes on issues like school safety, teacher pay, and AI in the classroom, tonight's debate moderator Loretta Boniti of Spectrum News 1 asked a question about the importance of a candidate's social media use. The North Carolina Institute of Political Leadership hosted a debate at the East Carolina Heart Institute at ECU tonight, featuring candidates for the role of Superintendent of Public Instruction. All eyes were on Republican candidate Michelle Morrow, who has made national headlines for a slew of online comments that resurfaced in March that advocated for harm against Democratic leaders like former President Barack Obama and President Joe Biden. When discussing a question about school safety, her Democratic opponent Mo Green shared his concerns about Morrow and brought up reports that were made last month of a Facebook live stream that has since been deleted, where Morrow called for former President Donald Trump to part ways with the Constitution.
This is a person who went to the insurrection on January 6, 2021 with her children. What kind of field trip was that, I might add? Comes back from that and suggests that we should set aside the U.S. Constitution and bring in the military to take over our country. These are issues of safety that manifest themselves in things that need, for example, lockdowns in our schools.
Morrow made little comment about the online history that has surfaced since her run for superintendent began, and chose to focus more on the issues at hand in the school system, including safety protocols and students' mental health.
I was one of the ones that fought for the parental rights bill, something that my opponent has stated is doing more harm than good. Understand something, that if a child is struggling, whether it's intellectually, physically, or emotionally, that impacts the entire family. And as your superintendent, I will be sure that we are using our resources in the school to be resourcing out.
And some of the other issues that were brought up in the debate include the use of cell phones in the classroom, teacher salaries, and the ways funding could be rearranged, as well as the curriculum taught in the classroom. Dave?
All right, thanks, Gigi. And the debate was part of a series the North Carolina Institute of Political Leadership is hosting called the Hometown Debate Series.